So we're out here at Road Atlanta, one of my favorite road courses in the country. We're out here for Formula Drift. I'm one of the co-founders. My day-to-day is vice president, and so we're out here basically putting on the show this weekend on Mother's Day weekend. So this is our 12th season, and this is actually our 12th time to Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta is actually the first place that this event actually ever happened. So this is kind of, in some way, the birthplace of drifting in the Western Hemisphere. We've been all around the world now. I mean, we have a mainstay in the US, but we've got events in Canada, in Central and South America. We've got a big contingent in Southeast Asia. We have an event coming up in China this year. And we've done events in Australia and the Middle East.
Drifting has evolved into a competitive sport, and its popularity has exploded over the past decades. Formula Drift is the premier racing series in the United States that's furthering drifting's legitimacy as a major motorsport in North America and the rest of the world.
Yeah, totally. I mean, year over year, there's been a lot of growth. The sport seems to attract a very young demographic, people that understand about action sports, but are also interested in motorsports as well. Drifting seems to be the kind of the combination of the two. And for this event in particular, there's tens of thousands of people that come out to watch these guys slide sideways and have fun with their race vehicles. Drifting has been around since the early 1920s in motorsports, where people lose grip and they countersteer. But it started to get a little bit more formalized in Japan in the late 80s and 90s, and then it became a formalized sport in Japan in the early 2000s. And from that point, we basically kind of adopted the format and started our own brand out here in the US. Really with drifting, it's kind of the antithesis of racing, because it's not about how fast you get from point A to point B. It's what you do in the middle that makes the difference, and that's where the style aspect comes into play. That's why when we look at what this motorsport really is, it's not a traditional motorsport in the sense of speed and a finish line. It's a motorsport in the sense that it has vehicles that drive four wheels, but that it's subjective in nature in the sense that it's a judged sport.
Essentially, in drifting, the driver intentionally oversteers, causing loss of traction in the rear wheels or all tires while maintaining control from entry to exit of a corner. Usually, drift cars are light to moderate weight rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive coupes and sedans, and some front-wheel drive that offer a large range of power levels.
There's two methods of scoring for drifting. One is the individual vehicle qualifying, and then there is the tandem drifting, which is kind of the essence, with two cars on the course at the same time. In qualifying, what you're trying to do is get the highest possible score, given the criteria from the judges, line, angle, and style, all worth a certain amount of points. And then whatever position you put yourself into places you in a bracket, like an NCAA bracket, when you face your competitor. So number 1 goes up against number 32, 2 versus 31, and so on. And then you move down the bracket until you have the two final competitors battling each other for the last battle of the night. More information on the sport and what we do can be found at www.formuladee.com.